indeed returned.
What a difference a week makes, huh? Gottfried with a block. Down into Fitzgerald. They made him alter his shot, but there you see a great athletic ability by Folks. And now he's warming up with 6 points. Simmons baseballs it. And not even the 6'9" Dan Gottfried could get it. That was a good heave by Marty.
Well, Coach Cruz is not yelling at Marty for that pass. He's upset with Gottfried because Gottfried obviously wasn't in the right place.
Beltra Dawson out, Kevin Haddock in. The assignment, Fitzgerald, plain and simple, and he draws a foul, and he collides with Curtis Jackson. Kevin with his first personal. We're gonna get another look.
Well, Kevin just got behind him that time. Probably is just coming off the bench. He says, my gosh, is that guy really that fast? The Aces dropping back into the zone. Now they're trying to match up.
Fitzgerald jacks it up. Yater with a rebound. A fresh 45 on the clock. Marty leaves the floor. Fitzgerald was going to crank it up again. You got to get on him as soon as he gets on the court. He's got the green light from anywhere. Off the leg of Folks. And it's retrieved by Marty Simmons. We're tied at 36. And off the foot of Kevin Haddock, and it goes off of...
Hit Fitzgerald's foot. The people on that end don't like it. Fitzgerald doesn't like it, but the Aces fans that are down there say, all right. Fitzgerald really upset with the call. Take another look. And I don't think it hit Fitzgerald. I think that was probably a bad call, but you need a couple of those on the road.
Curtis Jackson with a hot hand. Nice pass to Mourning, but he doesn't fall. Jeff Mourning couldn't get the roll. Here comes Butler. Fitzgerald scoops it out to Littrell. And a rebound, Marty Simmons.
The Aces good defensive pressure that time, contesting every pass and every shot.
Haddock, strong move. And the foul, let's see if they count it.
I don't think so. I think it was out on the floor as he was making his move. And it is on Fitzgerald. He says out on the floor, take the ball out of bounds. There comes Haddock. Nice move. Fitzgerald trying to lean over there. He knew he was in no man's land when he did that.
That's his first, they say his first personal. I hit him for 2. Rebound Gottfried. Big Dan gets it stolen. Here comes Folks. We're still tied. Folks gets it stolen by Curtis Jackson.
Coach Cruz up yelling some instructions. I think he wants to get a good shot this time. Kevin Haddock traveled out front, no call.
Jackson in traffic. And Curtis Jackson with a hot hand continuing. 10 points. He's got 8 in the second half. He's got all 8. And Evansville leads it 38-36.
Give it to CJ. The Aces back in a zone.
15.5 minutes remaining. Darren Fitzgerald having a good game. Puts in again a 3-pointer, his 5th. Not to beat a dead horse, but he's #1 in the country. That's number 72 of the year.
He doesn't need much opening. He gets just a little breathing room, and he puts it up.
Unofficially 21 points. He is out of Indianapolis, Washington. From the baseline, the shot is missed. So now Butler with a lead and the ball, 39-38.
Big trip up the floor for the Aces. They need a good defensive effort this time. The Aces back in a 2-3 zone.
Again from way out, Fitzgerald, living up to his billing, has given Butler now a 4-point lead. Haddock giving it back to Mourning. It wasn't there, and the Aces now getting a little careless.
I think the Aces need a timeout. Marty Simmons just told the ball, said, let's get squared away, and that's what your team captain does. He will save you a timeout when he does that.
Jackson doing it, gets it into Mourning, and it goes away. And a timeout on at Butler here. The Aces are going to have to regroup. They're down 4, 42-38.
Never before has Kenny Kent's inventory been so large. Due to the March 1st tax deadline, Kenny Kent must reduce their entire inventory. You'll never buy a new Chevrolet, Mazda, or Volvo for less. Here's the proof. $99 down and you can drive away in a new or used car, truck, or custom van. $99 down on any of over 500 Chevrolets, 150 Mazdas, or 200 used vehicles in stock, and it's yours. $99 down and no reasonable offer will be refused. Kenny Kent is dealing like never before. Downtown and at Diamond and Heidelberg.
14 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. The Aces now trailing 42-38. A little bit of a turnaround, to say the least.
Well, it's certainly nice that the Aces are getting a good performance out of Curtis Jackson. He's 4 of 4 here in the second half. But they have to cut down on those turnovers, and really they need a little more balanced scoring to be successful. Marty Simmons is going to have to get into the act. Jeff Morning did get open and missed a wide open shot. But 5 Aces turnovers, along with some very hot shooting by Darren Fitzgerald, has really taken its toll. You see Fitzgerald just gets a simple screen out front by Harper, and he just goes up and just ripples the net.
Look where he was. He wasn't at the line. He was back at the NBA line.
He would probably be standing right on the NBA line. He's a good 2 feet back, maybe even 3 feet back. Of course, the NBA line back about 23 feet.
Right.
He's back there a ways.
Unofficially, he has 6, and he can do more. He had 10 3-pointers at Loyola last Saturday, 10 of 15. Now remember, he's already got his average. He's got 18 points on 3-pointers alone in this contest. So UE's they've got to be aware of where that kid is at all times. Aces again with Jackson and Dawson out front. Bamba now in with Simmons and Gottfried underneath. They're in a zone with Butler leading 42-38.
Simmons and Harper were going at it inside.
Down to 15 seconds on the shot clock. Here he is again. Folks needs help. And they're back out with a fresh 45. It's down to 35 seconds now.
Good positioning that time by Chris Bamba. The rebound just went out a little high.
And a foul on Curtis Jackson. That's the second team foul. That's Jackson's first here in the second half.
Good defensive positioning that time by Dan Gottfried. Gottfried owning the middle. Said, you're not coming in here, but Curtis had reached in earlier and knocked the ball away. Got him right on the wrist.
Littrell. We have not heard much from Littrell. That's the man with the ball right there. Here's the Columbus East product. Folks, strong rebound, and a rebound by Dan Gottfried, and a foul on Darren Folks.
Folks has just picked up his 3rd foul, and all 3 fouls have been on the offensive end. This time he was going after the rebound. Folks works very hard on the offensive board. You see him going up, trying to come in and sneak it away, and just smacks Gottfried right on the arm.
So with a little just over 13 minutes remaining, the Aces come back up again. They've had their problems here in the second half. Curtis Jackson with 8 points, but that's it. 42-38, they trail. Tries to go inside to Simmons, and it's stolen.
Fitzgerald was looking for the 3-pointer that time. He'll pull it up and take it any time, even off the break.
Lynn Mitchum, Billy Shepard, who now coaches at Indianapolis, and Chad Tucker are the 3 leading scorers, and they're soon going to be passed by Mr. Fitzgerald if he keeps it up, as Mike Yater put in the basket.
The lead is ballooned to 6 now for Butler.
So UE will have to turn it around like Butler did in the first half. UE opened it up 26-16, then hung on for a 2-point lead at the half. And a foul inside on, or kicking the ball, I guess.
Right now, what Butler's doing defensively is they're taking the guards and they're pinching Belcher Dawson out front, and Belcher cannot drive between them or get around them, and the Aces are going to have to widen that offensive scheme a little bit. They like to play it a little lower and a little tighter. That's a good play by Butler right now, trying to spread the Aces out on offense.
30 seconds on the shot clock. A lot of time as Simmons pulls the trigger for three. A big three-point shot by Marty Simmons.
Dan Godfrey that time set one great pick.
44-41. Aces back within 3. Beltra trying to make life miserable for this guy, Darren Fitzgerald, who's had quite an afternoon. He's already over his average of 21 points. Down to 15 on the shot clock. Yater goes up and in. Mike Yater with his 3rd basket. He had his career-high 10 rebounds against Evansville. Seems like Butler has their careers against these guys. 11 minutes to go. Aces down by 5. The 2 wins last year didn't come easily either. Jackson, a strong move. Offensive foul on Curtis Jackson.
Oh, I don't think Jim Cruz is going to like that. That's an awful call. Curtis Jackson definitely had. Let's see if the Curtis going back out. Yater coming over. He gets smacked on the arm by Harper. And hard to call.
Timeout, 10:51 remaining. We'll be right back.
Just for the light of it, the smooth taste of it. Diet Coke. Just for the taste of it. From Coca-Cola. Diet Coke.
Tomorrow afternoon, again, NCAA basketball on NBC as North Carolina State visits North Carolina. Tobacco Road Country basketball at its best from the ACC. Sports World from 2 to 3:30. And then we'll take you out to Palm Springs for the Bob Hope Desert Chrysler Golf Classic from 3:30 to 5:30. The Aces cheerleaders are here. A nice crowd of backers for UE, and the Aces trying to come back from a 5-point deficit. Played well much of the first half, but they've seen their skimpy 2-point lead at half evaporate. They now trail 46-41 with 10:51 to go on the clock.
That rebounding margin become more evident at Butler really pounding the boards. They have 13 more shots than the Aces because they're out rebounding U of E 23-16, and the Aces have committed 16 turnovers. Butler just 10.
Jackson and Simmons were 12 apiece, and Fitzgerald with a big 24 points. Butler's biggest lead, I believe at one time, was 6. Jackson with the steal. He'll go all the way. And Curtis continues with a fine second half effort. 46-43.
Curtis with his 3rd steal of the game.
Jackson with 10 of his 12 here in the second half. And a foul on Darren Folks.
Good call. Excellent call. Folks really goes to the bucket hard. And that time he was just pushing off. Folks is very upset, and that man is just a little upset as well.
Joe Sexton putting his point across. Let's watch it.
Watch Folks' left arm. You see him hitting twice. There's 3 times. He's leaning in, initiating the contact. Offensive foul.
Back live, down underneath, a steal, a turnover. Mr. Folks gets it back. We're under 10 minutes, 9:55 remaining. Trying to draw a bead on a 3-pointer. Darren Fitzgerald with a miss.
Marty Simmons trying to pick up a cheap foul out there.
Aces with a chance to get back within one, maybe even tie it, and they do. Marty Simmons, back-to-back three-point shots, and the Aces are tied at 46.
Marty starting to heat up now. We talked about that new brace gives him a little more flexibility, a little more mobility with that wrist.
15 points for the Lawrenceville Mule, who has certainly coming back off an incredible comeback from that wrist injury. He still has what you call a broken wrist, gang, with that metal screw in it. 9 minutes to go. Folks into the paint. Rebound, Aces. Jackson comes away with it, and we're still tied.
Big trip up the floor for the Aces. It's been a while since they've been ahead.
Simmons again. He seemed to fade away that time.
Didn't get square, didn't get facing the bucket and get his feet under him that time. Was fading off a little, as you said.
So with 8.5 minutes, it's still 46-46. Fitzgerald up. And an offensive foul on Fitzgerald. Simmons really took a shot. The basket is good. Let's watch it.
Here goes Fitzgerald. Simmons comes over, still moving. Could probably have been called a block. One of those that's awfully close, and when you're an official and you have a split second to take a look at it, you got to make the decision right there, and you don't have the slow motion videotape. The officials are doing a pretty good job today.
48-46 Butler. Evansville with the ball. Curtis loses it going down, but gets it back. The spin around. Fitzgerald behind us to Gallagher with a basket. And talking to the Evansville coaches, they think Fitzgerald's playing smarter. He's playing an all-around much better game than he did a year ago. And there you saw a sample of it.
He certainly had to take more control with Tucker out of there.
Brian Hill losing it. Some emotions get high.
Brian Hill is a very emotional young man, and he got hammered that time when he went up. Jim Cruz is beside himself. And Chris Bamba shows a lot of leadership out there, and he just grabbed Brian and says, play the game and play it hard and don't let your emotions.
They're going to let some people cool off while there's a timeout. Now, Jim Cruz isn't exactly the picture of calm. Jim's got a beef. We'll fill you in on that as we're coming back to Butler right after this.
The buck stops with Margot Edwards.
Here in Eastland Mall, fast service counts. That's what you'll get with Old National. Because I can make my own decisions, you don't get stuck waiting around.
The buck stops with Bill Forkey.
My customers like working with someone they know. With Old National, they do. Banking here is one-on-one. It's just you and it's just me. Now, isn't that the way it ought to be?
Old National, Old National.
Moments ago, tempers flared underneath.
Well, I think Hill gets hammered right here when he goes up. Let's take a look. He pushes off a little bit there. See, I think that's Harper that reached in there. Yeah, it was Harper. Harper reached in, and then Gallagher took a swung at Brian Hill, and Hill says, you're too little to be doing that. Brian Hill, an awfully big guy inside.
Givens, a 6'2" senior out of Cincinnati. They call him Goose, as in Jack Goose Givens. Jim Cruz getting his point across very explicitly. 7:46 remaining as the Aces break from the huddle. And here was this last exchange. Jim saying, you're going to tell me now, wait a minute.
I'm not sure what they're going to call. I think they may just be giving Hill the foul. I don't think they're going to be calling any kind of technical or anything, and they're going to put Brian back out on the floor. The shooting percentage still quite one-sided. The Aces shooting 55%, and Butler only shooting 41%. But still, it's quite a margin in shots taken. Butler with 13 more shots, and the Aces are going to pick the Bulldogs up full court.
Brian Hill with his third personal. 50-46. Givens being worked on by Jackson. They wanted a palm and a foul on Chris Givens.
Good call. Givens initiated the contact. Of course, Givens is a little pumped up too because he's the one that Hill was having the problems with down on the floor. And when Curtis was bumping Givens around a little bit in the backcourt, well, he got a little fired up and took it to the hole a little hard. Joe Sexton says, I can't believe
He says,
that.
that's awful.
Come
That's
on.
awful. Easy, Joe. 50-46. Aces try again, but they turn it over. Fitzgerald knocked away, and a foul on Veltra Dawson.
Veltra got back. What Veltra tried to do that time is what the coaching staff talks about. Well, let's take a look, and you see Fitzgerald going in and Veltra just reaching around. Fitzgerald tried to act like he was shooting the ball to get a couple of shots.
Veltra can afford him. He's got only one foul, but that's the 15th foul for the visiting Aces.
Veltra threw the ball away down on the offensive end, but what the Aces try to do is get the defense spread out a little bit and then throw it inside. Brian Hill was open, but then got the ball knocked away.
Well, finally getting out of his warm-up suit, it's Joe Harris. He's another sharpshooter. This is Harris with the ball right now.
The Aces back in a 2-3 zone, but believe me, they're marking Darren Fitzgerald man for man. They know where he is at all times.
7 minutes remaining. Still a 4-point ball game. Butler on top. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster live from Indianapolis. MCC basketball, an important game for both teams who have been hit by injuries here in the early part of the conference season, but are both playing very hard here this afternoon. This is Harris. Rebound Yater. And a foul on Brian Hill.
I think the Aces, the officials are trying to get the game under control a little bit, and they're starting to call a couple of touch fouls. Yater with the positioning that time. Let's say, probably a good call because Brian was shoving him down below. I think the officials are going to try to get control of this game.
Some of you may remember Mike Yater. He played in the Great Lakes Valley for Indiana Central. He just came across town here at Indy, transferred. He was a second-team all-conference performer as we see Milt Donald check in. Yater has 7 points. He's at his average right now. And he was an academic all-stater and academic all-conference in the GLVC, and he's now got 8 points. Butler back up by 6.
Milt Donald into the
needing
game.
some help. Throws it away. Donald got his hands on it.
Jim Cruz stands up and says, Milt, I want you to handle the ball and not throw those long passes. When the Aces don't have Veltra Dawson in there, they suffer from ball handling. There's no question.
6:15 remaining.
And Donald is in to take Fitzgerald one-on-one. Milt, a very good defensive person.
Traveling call by Harris. The Aces will get it back. And Jim Cruz wants to talk to Curtis Jackson as we look at Joe Sexton.
Butler forced into playing some young guys right now with Givens and Folks and Littrell, all three on the bench. We have 3 pretty important people over there for Butler on the bench right now.
Here's Bamba. Nice shot. Chris Bamba on the turnaround. The Aces needed it. They too have had their droughts.
Did you see Bamba grab that ball when it was thrown into him? No one was going to take it away from him. He said, this one's mine.
52-48. Again, a 4-point lead. Five and a half minutes, and Joe Sexton wants to talk things over. We're coming back. The score, 52-48. Butler on top.
Quietly, with very little noise, one soft drink has risen all the way to the top to become America's #1 caffeine-free cola. Caffeine-free Diet Coke. It's the soft drink more and more people are quietly enjoying. Caffeine-free Diet Coke. Try it.
just for the taste of it. Free Diet Coke.
Never before has Kenny Kent's inventory been so large. Due to the March 1st tax deadline, Kenny Kent must reduce their entire inventory. You'll never buy a new Chevrolet, Mazda, or Volvo for less. Here's the proof. $99 down and you can drive away in a new or used car, truck, or custom van. $99 down on any of over 500 Chevrolets, 150 Mazdas, or 200 used vehicles in stock, and it's yours. $99 down and no reasonable offer will be refused. Kenny Kent is dealing like never before. Downtown and at Diamond and Heidelberg.
Again, 5.5 minutes remaining. The Aces have their work cut out for them. A 4-point deficit, 52-48. Again, impressed by the very nice crowd of Aces fans. They're giving them some very good support here on the road at Indy.
The key stat again is turnovers, 11 of them for the Aces. They cannot turn the ball over like that and expect to win this game.
UE 8 of 12 this half in field goal percentage. But again, they're not shooting as much. 12 shots in 15 minutes is not, or 14 and a half is not very good.
Butler still out rebounding the Aces just in this half, 2-1, 10-5.
Rebounds 19-26.
I don't think anyone anticipated this was going to be a blowout. It's always been a 2-4-point game between these guys. A couple of 2-pointers last year. The Aces coming up with 2-point wins each time. And I'm sure Butler would like to return the favor this year.
Butler's ball. Folks will inbound it. Again, Milt Donald in guarding Darren Fitzgerald, who's been a real nemesis. 24 points unofficially.
Bulldogs came back at that timeout with Littrell and Folks in there.
Here he is from way out. Boy, oh boy.
He just puts it up in the air, and that's his 7th of the game.
Marty Simmons, strong move. Hill with battling the rebound, and a foul on Mike Harper.
Harper just trying to get the ball out of there. He knew he couldn't get the ball, so he just tipped it out, and that's where Bamba picked it up. Simmons probably got fouled by Harper there. Now watch Harper reach up and say, get that thing out of here. And then he pushed off down below when he did it. That's Harper's 3rd.
And a foul on Folks.
That's number 5 on Folks. Chris Bamba was such a smart move that time. And that is an awfully big play.
So Darren Folks goes to the Pine with 3 baskets and 4 free throws. He fouls out at 4:33. Let's see if that makes a big difference. He's not going to leave until they tell him, but he knows. 4:27 on the clock.
We'll write that one down and see what it does. Darren Folks, a very important person in the Butler attack, and he's really kind of that inside game, kind of the Marty Simmons of Butler. Without Tucker in there, Folks becomes even more impressive, and he leaves a 15.4 average and 8 rebounds.
Referee is coming over to talk to Dean Webster here at the moment. It's 55-48. So you've got Donald, Jackson, Bamba will go to the stripe. Hill and Simmons on the line.
He thought maybe we had the clock superimposed, and they weren't sure how much time was left on the mistake, and they were going to try to use...
I think 4:33 is what I said. But the Aces will go with 4:45. I'll shut up. I thought I was losing my mind. I wrote down 4:33, and then they put 4:27. So the Aces picked up 12 seconds, gang, and Bamba picks up a free throw.
They thought maybe we had the clock superimposed into our tape and thought we could rewind it and take a look at it, but we didn't have the clock up there yet.
All right. Simmons keeps it alive. Aces trail by 6. 4:40 to go. Nice pass. Donald into and a foul. Donald getting it into Jackson and a foul.
Yater can't believe it. A lot of people might say, how come Milt Donald is in there now with the game on the line? I think Belcher Dawson was having a little problem getting that ball in there. Milt Donald is a very good passer. He's big. He can see over people. At 6'4", he can get that ball in there. And you saw that time. He took it and just whipped it inside. And Curtis got the ball and turned around and got fouled.
And Milt, of course, has logged very little playing time as the free throw is missed. Simmons with a rebound.
Again, Marty Simmons with a big, big rebound.
Here he is now, maybe with a big three-pointer. Hill, strong rebound, back up, and a foul. So the Aces are cracking. They just can't get it to drop.
They've got to start hitting the free throws. The Aces have struggled with the free throw. Watch Brian Hill. Good positioning there. He really ripped that rebound, Mike. And he goes back up strong, and that's where he got fouled by Gallagher. Not even sure he was going up to shoot it when he got fouled, but they're going to give him 2 shots. Big free throws here with 4:18 left to go.
Nothing but net for Brian Hill. That's his 5th free throw of the game. He's got his 5 points. 4:18 on the clock as the Aces get back within 4. Hang on as you look at the Aces in their crowd. Donald works on Fitzgerald.
Darren Fitzgerald's going to see a lot of Milt Donald over the next. Oh, that's a bad call. That's a bad call out on the floor. Milt Donald was not holding him. He simply had his hands out, and they called the foul. So Fitzgerald does a good job, though, as he keeps running into Donald and keeps slapping and acting like it's really bothering him, and that will draw the attention of the officials. Got the call that time.
He's a 70% free throw shooter. He has not gone to the line often. In fact, he has not had one today. Banging at the boards. Donald wins the race. And it goes to Butler.
Said it was off Donald. Donald had good position that time. He was about ready to grab the ball, and Fitzgerald is so quick. Went right around him and got the ball.
You hear a lot of the crowd hollering, 3, 3. Down to 3:45, a 4-point deficit by the Aces.
Donald is almost playing on top of Fitzgerald out on the floor to keep him out of 3-point range.
Ball's on the floor, a jump ball. And it's still Butler.
Anything down the stretch now, any kind of held ball will go to the Aces.
Gallagher to bring it in with 3:32 to go. 55-51. Donald goes down. Fitzgerald goes up and in.
Fitzgerald with a great push off that time. He did. He just laid Milt Donald right down. No call was made, and Fitzgerald put it up for 3.
They got to get it across quick. Simmons, great pass into Bamba, and a block and a foul. Sexton's blowing a gasket.
Gallagher didn't like it either.
We're down to 3:13. Let's watch it.
Here it comes. You see him go up. Looked like it might have been a pretty good block.
Gallagher can sky as Chris Bamba goes to the line.
Jim Cruz and now Milt Donald pleading his case with the official. He says, if you're going to call him on me, you've got to call him on Darren Fitzgerald for pushing me off. The official says, I'll take a look the next time down.
Bamba, 61% free throw shooter, brings the Aces back within 5. 3:12 remaining.
Butler will try to work that 45-second clock down and then get Fitzgerald the shot.
Here he is again. Boy, oh boy.
He just lulls you right to sleep, looks at you, gets you looking down, and then straight up and boom, it goes in.
A big bucket with 2:45 to go. It's 61-53. Aces need a bunch in a hurry. Again, I think Scott Hafner's defense was missed this afternoon. It'll go back to Evansville.
Not that Hafner would have been able to shut down Fitzgerald. We're not saying that, but he is certainly a good defensive player that can irritate a shooter like that, much like the Aces did to Fitzgerald last year when he was 0 for 12.
2.5 minutes remaining. UE needs to pick up 8 points. It can be done, but it's going to be tough.
Well, that three-point play certainly puts some excitement in college basketball. I'm not too sure if I like it, but right now, if I'm an Aces fan, I like the three-point rule.
Absolutely. And we hope you'll like college basketball tomorrow. North Carolina State and North Carolina. Noon from Chapel Hill. Then we'll be from Cincinnati live on Monday night at 7 o'clock. Dean and I and the 14 team will be at Cincinnati Gardens to bring you the Xavier Musketeers and Byron Larkin, one of the most heralded players in the MCC. We'll be back at the stadium with the Aces on Wednesday night. The Blue Demons are coming. Unbeaten and 7th ranked at the moment, 13-0. And it seems that Joey Meyer has finally gotten out from the shadow of his great father, the legend Ray Meyer, and he's got now his own team, and boy, they are something, Dean.
He certainly has, and also that something is Darren Fitzgerald's three-point proficiency. Watch Fitzgerald there. He pushes down Donald. You see Donald goes down in the paint, and that's what Donald and Jim Cruz were talking about to the officials, and he just goes up, and I mean, it does not even touch the rim. This guy can flat shoot the three-pointer.
For you young ball hawks that like to shoot, watch the form. We tell you to watch young men like Scott Hafner. Watch a Darren Fitzgerald too. He's got very good form. Releases it at the peak of his jump, and he is only 5'9" in a big man's game. 2:30 to go. Aces have the ball, but they've got an 8-point deficit that they're staring at.
The Aces have probably got to get off the three-pointer, and they're looking for Marty Simmons.
Curtis Jackson gets the roll.
Curtis Jackson has certainly done the job this half from the offensive standpoint.
7th field goal. Off the leg of Fitzgerald.
Certainly very close to 10-second call. About 9 that time. Just barely got it across.
Here's where the clock becomes a tremendous adversary. Milt Donald.
Donald and Simmons pleading their case down there.
Ruled off of Donald. It's ruled that it went off of Donald. 1:55 to go.
Now the 45-second clock does not reset on a play like that.
Timeout purple.
24 seconds left on the 45-second shot clock. On a play like that, when you knock the ball out, the 45-second shot clock does not reset. Only on a shot that hits the rim.
You forget that this is only 2 baskets, 6-point deficit.
2 good plays, 2 Marty Simmons three-pointers, and Troy Jones is probably not too far from coming in this game. Of course, Troy can shoot the three-point shot as well. 61-55. The Aces talking it over. Over on the other side, coaching staff for Butler not even talking to their players. There is dad and son talking things over, what they want to do for the last 1 minute and 55 seconds. Trying to preserve a 6-point lead, 61-55.
We were talking before on the way up about wouldn't it have been something to have seen Pete Maravich or Rick Mount, the Rocket out of Lebanon, with a 3-point shot. Those guys, Dean, they might have gotten 6,000 points in their career.
They would certainly put them up from way out.
They'd have howled at 19-9. They put it up as soon as they got out of the locker room.
Mount didn't even care if he was in bounds when he shot that baseline jumper.
Here come the Aces. They've played it. They've given it a hard fight, but that won't do any good on the sports page or in the highlights if they come out on the short end. You want to win. They need a win. Right now they're down 61-55. Butler's ball and a 6-point lead.
Milt Donald picking up Darren Fitzgerald as soon as he got out of the huddle. Oh, my. How can you call a foul there? Simmons called for the blocking foul. Take another look at it. Marty moving over. Might have been a better no call than a call. The official calls it on Simmons.
Gallagher with a 1-on-1, throws up a brick, but it comes down.
Line drive hit the back of the rim, went straight up and came back down.
Gallagher's 3rd point. That might have turned out to be a good foul. But the Aces, it'll go back to Butler. Boy, that'll drive you nuts. You've got to get those rebounds on the free throws. Absolutely got to get those.
Curtis had it and had it knocked away by his own teammate trying to pick it up, and it went on the line.
Donald. Fitzgerald getting it out to Littrell. Bamba. And here they go. A minute and a half. Minute 34. Simmons for 3. And a foul on Curtis Jackson.
I think that's what the Aces had to do that time, though. Try to get the three-pointer. Simmons had a good shot. He was looking at the bucket. He got under control. Good shot, just missed it.
That'll send Mike Harper to the line.
The Butler fans not making much noise. Of course, there's as many Aces fans here as there are Butler fans.
Harper with his 3rd free throw, 7 points. He's averaging only 1 point. He matches his career high, which he had against Evansville 2 years ago. A minute 25 to go. Aces down by 9. Simmons again from 3-point range. Down to a minute 10 or minute 12.
Gonna have to foul.
Jackson. Simmons again will try for 3.
On Harper.
Foul underneath.
Harper with the foul, and Harper can't believe it again. Harper's really got some tough fouls underneath. He got one trying to knock the ball just back out onto the court. He got another kind of questionable foul on a rebound. He's picked up 4, and I don't really think he's got a good healthy whack on anybody.
So Milt Donald out of Cincinnati. He's had some physical problems, but has recovered well from a hernia scare earlier in the year.
You saw Gallagher step in the free throw as Milt was about ready to shoot at that time. He would have gotten to shoot that over because of the violation, but he does not get to shoot an extra one here.
And a foul on Marty Simmons.
Good play by Marty. You got a foul immediately. You're down 64-56. You're down 8 points. That's at least 3 buckets.
52 seconds to go. And there's Joe Sexton, a former Mr. Basketball, was a great athlete at Arsenal Tech High School in Indianapolis. Was an all-stater in football as a halfback, and then went on and had a very outstanding career at Purdue. He was a scholar athlete. He was an all Big Ten performer, and at that time was only the second coach or player rather in Purdue's history to go over the 1,000-point career total. And he's on the books as the winningest baseball coach at Purdue. He was there 18 years as an assistant coach in basketball. 66-56. Stolen by Fitzgerald.
The Aces have got a foul.
They're going to air it out. Knocked away by Curtis Jackson. I'll make a prediction right now. They'll beat Butler at the stadium, Dino.
I don't know about that. Butler's got a good team. We certainly hope the best for the Aces.
They'll beat them, and I'm assuming we'll have a healthy team.
On the line right there. On the line. Good call.
36 seconds to go.
Gallagher had to stand on the line a couple of seconds there, and the official said, hey, wait a minute, you're out of bounds. The Aces are going to have to put it up in a hurry here.
Marty trying to get open anywhere. An offensive foul. Oh, wait a minute, call on Harper.
Poor Mike Harper is going to be talking to himself tonight. His 5th foul. I tell you can't help but feel for a kid like this. He's played a pretty darn good game underneath, and really hasn't committed a good hard foul. Simmons initiating the contact that time, and Harper called for the foul, but he's going to go out with Butler leading it by 10 and 30 seconds to go.
Coming in will be Chris Givens. Harper gets a nice hand from the partisan crowd. And Marty Simmons will go to the line. Marty with a decent ball game offensively.
Harper goes to the bench with 10 points, so he had a pretty good day.
Unofficially, that's his career high.
Coming in averaging 1.3 points per game. He's, of course, Chad Tucker's replacement. Did a pretty good job in Tucker's absence today.
Simmons will stay at 15 points. Stolen by Donald. 25 seconds, an 8-point ball game. Gallagher gets it to Fitzgerald. Nice pass. Goaltending call on the Aces.
I would have gone along with the foul on that one. If you put it up on the board and it gets trapped up there, then of course that is goaltending.
Donald again. Or make that Curtis Jackson. Timeout. They want a timeout. 6 seconds. And a foul on Simmons. 4 seconds on the clock.
I was certainly signaling for a timeout over here. The Aces could have called a timeout after the Milt Donald bucket.
Actually, it was Curtis Jackson with a basket.
And now Curtis hits a bucket, and they could have called their second timeout, and they failed to do it both times.
Curtis with a sensational second half. He's had 8 field goals, one of which was a 3-pointer. 19 points on the night.
Good ball game, even though the Aces are going to come up a little short in this one. They made a good effort today without their second leading scorer. Certainly one of their primary offensive players and defensive players, Scott Hafner, sitting at home.
And that's the way it's going to end. Simmons will put it up. Good shot, but to no avail, unfortunately. A 3-pointer by Marty. The final score with Simmons hitting a 3-pointer at the end, 70-64. Coaches Jim Cruz and Joe Sexton having a talk. Both have a lot of respect for one another. We will see those guys in just another few weeks at the stadium. There you see 2 coaches who worked very hard, had their teams well prepared for this contest.
Well, I think at halftime when Joe Sexton said, you know, he told me earlier in the week that he had a lot of respect for Jim Cruz and the program. And he said, I tried to tell these kids here that when you play the Aces, you have to work extremely hard. And I don't think Coach Cruz is going to be upset with the performance today. The Aces played pretty well, except for the turnovers, especially at the beginning of the second half. And, of course, you just cannot do that.
To recap, if you joined us late, in the early going, UE played very well on the offensive and defensive end early in the game. On the defensive end, very fine defense. They built a 26-16 lead, but that evaporated. The score was tied at 26 all, and then the Aces took a 30-28 lead, and at halftime came out early in the second half, and it was a very nice shot by Curtis Jackson. He scored their first 8 points, and he kept them in it. But after about a 38-36 mark, it was Butler taking control.
I want to take a look at some of the individual scoring. Boy, I'm telling you, the game high, no surprise here. 37 points for Darren Fitzgerald. He was quite proficient on the 3-point end, had 9 of them. 27 of his 37 came from 3-point land. He is now tied with Chad Tucker on 3rd on the all-time Butler scoring list. Other scorers, Darren Folks, Mike Yater, both had 10 points, as did Mike Harper. Littrell had a couple, and take a look at the Aces. Marty Simmons had 18 points. Curtis Jackson, though, led the way with 19, and including 17 of them in the second half. He really came through for the Aces today. Also scoring, it was Chris Bamba, 10 points. Chris played a pretty good game today. Brian Hill had 6. Milt Donald with 3 points as he came in off the bench, and Kevin Haddock had a couple. Dan Gottfried also 2 points, both in starting roles.
I would think they lapsed just before the end of the first half. And again, that drought, Jackson kept them alive, but again, they sputtered, didn't they, early in the second half?
Well, the Aces had the lead with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half, had a 26-16 lead, then let it slip away, only led by 2 at halftime, 30-28, and then it seemed like Butler took over early on, led by 6 early on, 44-38, stretched the lead out continuously, finally got it out to 10 points at 66-56, and the Aces trimmed it to 6 for the final margin.
Well, again, with Darren Fitzgerald, the three-point maker, the leader in the country, here's the nemesis. He did it again. A great effort tonight by Darren Fitzgerald as he led Butler to a 70-64 win. The Aces go to 8-7, and 4 seniors from last year's team finished 18-13 and went all the way to the East Regional Finals, where they lost to runner-up Duke 74-67. They come in here tonight 15-16-0, number 6th ranked. They've already assured themselves of their 16th consecutive winning season. And unless they really fall apart, they'll go to the NCAA for the 3rd year in a row under 3rd-year head coach Joey Meyer.
This is really Joey's team for the first time. Of course, Dallas Comegys. And Comegys is the only player that Ray Meyer ever went out of Illinois to recruit, and he's the only player left. And I guess Ray Meyer knew a good one when he saw one. Went outside, went to Comegys, said, "Come to DePaul, young man," and he's here and making quite an impact.
He certainly is, Dean, and we're going to tell you about, when you look at the roster of DePaul, they're from all over this country of ours: Bronx, New York, Los Angeles, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Listen to the introduction of the starting lineups, which are coming up right now. And for that, we go to the public address announcer, Mr. John McCauley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Rogers Stadium for tonight's game between the DePaul University Blue Demons and your University of Evansville Aces. Here is the starting lineup. First for the Blue Demons. At forward, a 6'4" sophomore from Flint, Michigan, number 13, Terrence Green. Junior from Jackson, Michigan, number 55, Kevin Gold. At center, a 6'9" senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 35, Dallas Comegys. At guard, a 6'3" sophomore from Bronx, New York, number 10, Rod Strickland. And at guard, a 6'3" junior from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, number 20, Kevin Edwards. The head coach of the Blue Demons is Joey Meyer. Now, let's have a warm welcome home as I introduce the starting lineup for your University of Evansville Aces. At forward, a 6'7" sophomore from Bloomington, Indiana, number 40, Chris Bamba. At forward, a 6'6" junior from Lawrenceville, Illinois, number 50, Marty Simmons. At center, a 6'9.5" freshman from Stillman Valley, Illinois, number 53, Dan Gottfried. At guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana, number 3, Scott Hafner. And at guard, a 6'2" junior from Michigan City, Indiana, number 32, Curtis Jackson. The Aces assistant coaches are Steve Bennett, Will Ray, Dave Skabinski, and Woody Wilson. The Aces head coach is Jim Cruz.
And when Jim Cruz took the head coaching job here at Evansville, I'm sure he dreamed of nights like this with the crowd, the reception. As we mentioned earlier, it's a flavor of big-time basketball. Incidentally, The officials for tonight's contest. The triumvirate in the middle is Chuck Weinkoff. He is from the MCC. Jerry Petro is on the right. He is from the MCC. And the man on the left, Bill Herzog of the Big Ten. Those are the men who will be blowing their whistles tonight as the Aces come out to meet the Blue Demons. There are the matchups, and some very good ones, as we mentioned. What do you think is a key as we look at it right away, Dean?
Well, I think the key is right in the middle. Can Dan Godfrey hold Dallas Comegys? And I'm sure they're going to go right at Big Dan, knowing he had a little foul trouble on Monday night at Xavier. And I think we're going to find out very early on if Godfrey can hold Comegys.
Godfrey coming off a very fine performance. He was a force in the middle defensively over at Xavier the other night. Before fouling out, he had 9 big rebounds in the first half alone. DePaul with the basketball. Comegys turns it around, and it's 2-0 right out of the chute.
Well, that's what we talked about. We know they're going to go right to Dallas and see if he can go in on Big Dan. That time, Godfrey playing pretty good defense.
Jackson takes it down, misses the shot, and Comegys with a rebound. Here's the man that runs the show, Rod Strickland. He led the way last year at the Horizon against the Aces. And now Comegys, as if there's any doubt about his ability, he's put in 4 points in less than 40 seconds. 4-0 DePaul. And a foul on Rod Strickland. Chris Bamba with a very fine play. Chris Bamba forcing the foul as Hafner brings it in bounds. Aces are facing a defense which has held their opponents to 40.8% shooting from the field.
The Aces can't afford to get down too far right out of the chute, so they are going to have to come up with some offense here in a hurry.
Once again, the shot is missed. The rebound is by Green. Strickland needs help, dumps it to Comegys. He almost loses the ball. Of course, the crowd wanted a traveling. They didn't get it. They'll bring it back out. 25 seconds on the shot clock. And making it 6-0, his first contribution, Kevin Edwards. He's averaging 14 points.
Edwards is the man that's really taking the pressure off of Strickland out front.
So just what the Aces did not want, to fall behind early, has happened. They're down 6-0. We played not 2 minutes. Finally, Dan Godfrey gets it in.
Dan needs to come up with some offense tonight, make Comegys work on the defensive end, and that time Comegys did not come out and get Big Dan.
A foul underneath, and they point to Marty Simmons.
Comegys just kind of threw Simmons out of the way when he backed into him. And Marty picked up the foul.
That's a first team foul. As Terrence Green will inbound the ball. Gets it into Strickland. He goes right back up, and it's 8-2. You cannot let these guys shoot from that close in. They'll burn you all night long. Strickland averaging 14 points. He has his first 2. Despite the gimpy ankle, Hafner put in 40 minutes the other night and has answered the bell here again this evening.
Comegys really working over Simmons.
Simmons gets loose underneath and gets the basket. Marty Simmons with his first point, and it is 8-4. Aces back within 4.
That's what the Aces are going to have to do. Keep getting it inside. Bamba and Godfrey and Simmons are going to have to work inside along with Curtis Jackson.
Green with a shot. The block by Godfrey as Edwards was rejected. Strickland says, let's start it over. And a foul on Curtis Jackson. Curtis with his first personal. Team second.
Reach-in foul that time, and Comegys and Jackson are already having a couple of words inside.
Cross court, it goes to Edwards. He misses a shot, and Bamba with a rebound.
The Aces playing zone that time out of bounds. Looked like it might have worked.
This time Bamba goes down, Hafner goes up, and it's an 8-7 ball game. Scott Hafner with a shot.
Well, according to our production staff, Scott Hafner put on quite a show this afternoon in shooting practice. He was out along where the NBA line would be, hit 11 in a row.
The Aces coaching staff up off their chair. They think Comegys is pushing off underneath. The shot is missed, and now Curtis Jackson will slow it down. So here come the Aces with a chance to take the lead. They trail 8-7.
They take the lead. This place will explode.
Simmons misses the bunny, gets it back. Down he goes on the floor. The ball will go over to DePaul.
Comegys just grabbed Simmons and threw him out of the way. Unbelievable. No call. 3 referees on the floor and no call. And Jim Cruz is really upset and has a right to be. Comegys just reached in. Simmons had good position, just grabbed his jersey.
Strickland. And a foul on Kevin Golden. There was a case, I think, that Gottfried altered a shot.
Gottfried altered the shot, and Bamba got in good position to get the rebound. And there's Gottfried with good position. Bamba gets it, and there's the foul. And you can bet DePaul is really going to come after the Aces in this situation.
You really couldn't see how high Strickland had to shoot that ball, but it was definitely it looked like a pop-up. The Aces break the press. Jackson, down he goes. And the stuff by Godfrey.
That's a great move by Curtis Jackson behind the back pass. And the Aces lead at 9-8 with 16 minutes to go.
And the Aces with their first lead. They were down 6-0. They lead at 9-8. We played just over 4 minutes. We got a crowd of well over 10, probably closer to 11. As Terrence Green counters. Green out of Flint was an All-American football star in high school, recruited by Bo Schembechler, but chose the Blue Demons and basketball. Here's Hafner. 15.5 minutes remaining. Godfrey fans it out. DePaul was lethargic against Indiana State on Monday night. Here's Simmons. I would think UE would have to shoot really well. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities, Dean.
No doubt against, oh my.
Bamba, great play by Bamba. 3-on-2, Simmons down the lane, up.
Marty Simmons taking her right to the hole. A good play by Marty.
And the Aces go back on top, 11-10. The crowd it's got to be 11 or better.
Joey Myers kind of concerned right now and should be. The Aces playing some inspired basketball.
At Indiana State, the Sycamores led at the halftime. As Terrence Green continues to shoot. The book on him, he's a much improved shooter from last year. He was a freshman. He started in 15 games, but he's shooting much better this year.
Crowd really into this game, but Green's jumper quieted him a little bit.
UE 8-8 on the year. DePaul off to its best start ever. They're 16-0. What a move by Jackson, but it doesn't go.
Great pass by Hafner to set that up.
14 minutes remaining. Nice dish off. And Terrence Green now is asserting himself with his third basket, and the Blue Demons go back up 14-11.
Green is that third guard in that offense, and that seems to be very popular this year, that 3-guard offense.
Strickland got his hands on it. Great steal. Up he goes. And just like that, DePaul opens it up to a 5-point lead.
Strickland's very quick, second on the team in steals.
He's out of Bronx, New York. Nice pass to Simmons on the turnaround. Godfrey battling, and a rebound by Kevin Golden.
Joey Meyer wanted the over-the-back call.
Of course, the chorus of boos were out to the other side. Comegys off the window, and it's a 7-point lead. Comegys with his 6th point. He's averaging almost 18 a game.
That's 8 straight by the Blue Demons.
I'm surprised we haven't had a timeout. Almost over 7 minutes have elapsed, and now the Aces are getting careless, and they better be careful. 18-11, DePaul with the lead and the ball. Green. And the rebound by Godfrey. They say this year DePaul is they're playing harder, and of course Comegys and the addition of Edwards have made him a much better club.
They have that 3-guard offense. That really takes the pressure off of Strickland. Last year he had to do everything. Score.
Hafner is short. Rebound Edwards. Edwards gives this club what they didn't have a year ago. He can score, he can pull up, he can play D, he can do it all. And he's one of the reasons why the Blue Demons are 16-0. DePaul wanting to tune up for a big one with Georgetown on national TV on Sunday. Here's Golden. Jackson with a rebound. So both teams now cool off a little bit. We're down to 12 minutes exactly, and it's 18-11. DePaul with the lead. The last time we had a crowd of 11,000 or better was for Purdue in '83 December. The Aces won it going away. Hafner.
Hafner's going to have to be hot from there tonight. That's his second three-pointer already, and we've just played about 8.5 minutes.
Aces back within 4, 18-14. Rod Strickland orchestrating the offense. Scored more points last year than any freshman in the school's history, 427. Edwards with the shot. Comachis. Green trying to look for help. Gets it up and in.
Very few stops in play so far. And normally we have a timeout at about the 15-minute mark.
One of the few times I've seen DePaul this year was against Notre Dame, and Green was a force in that game. He's the leader tonight with 8. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Aces down by 6.
The Aces are going to have to go back inside. They can't rely on that three-pointer.
Great hook by Dan Godfrey.
That's Dan's shot. He gets on that baseline, and he can turn around, go to the middle, or he can throw that big hook in there.
And the Stillman Valley native with his third basket. 20-16.
You said the Aces will have to shoot well. They'll also have to play good defense tonight, Mike.
For 3, a three-pointer by Kevin Edwards. And it's 23-16. Under 10.5 minutes in the first half. Mike Blake, Dean Webster with the Aces live from the stadium before a packed house. As UE takes a break from Midwestern Collegiate Conference action. It isn't a break in the true sense of the word, because they're playing one of the best teams in the country. Simmons working hard, gets it rejected. Edwards dishes it off to Strickland. And DePaul owning things pretty much their own way now, 25-16.
This may be the quickest first half we've ever had. Oh, just 9 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Hafner. And Scott single-handedly is keeping the Aces in it. He's got 9, all on three-pointers. The Aces back within 6 with 9:32 to go.
Joey Meyer says, I cannot believe we're not guarding Scott Hafner out there to his team.
Comachis draws a crowd. Strickland. Rebound Simmons. So UE now can come back within 4 or 3.
And the Aces want to walk it up and rest a little bit. Dan Godfrey really getting a breather maybe this time down the floor. He looks a little winded.
Hafner looks a lot, and he walked. We're going to take a timeout. What a pace here at the stadium. 9:07 remaining in the first half. DePaul on top by a half dozen.
Never before has Kenny Kent's inventory been so large. Due to the March 1st tax deadline, Kenny Kent must reduce their entire inventory. You'll never buy a new Chevrolet, Mazda, or Volvo for less. Here's the proof. $99 down and you can drive away in a new or used car, truck, or custom van. $99 down on any of over 500 Chevrolets, 150 Mazdas, or 200 used vehicles in stock, and it's yours. $99 down and no reasonable offer will be refused. Kenny Kent is dealing like never before. Downtown and at Diamond and Heidelberg.
King's incredible year-end closeout sale has been held over. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of appliance and video inventory must be sold to make room for construction workers starting on King's new Superstore warehouse. How about ranges from $238? Wow, only $238. Washers and dryers from only $488.99. Wow, $488.99. And camcorders now only $1049. Wow, $1049. We repeat, King's Superstore year-end closeout sale has been held over. King's Superstore, 4225 East Morgan, across from Bassmeyer's.
Any use of accounts, description, or pictures of this game without written authorization from WFIE-TV is prohibited. A lightning-quick first half, over 11 minutes, or almost 11 exactly, of elapsed. We
had a couple of early whistles, 4 fouls called in about the first 3 minutes of the game, and then normally you have a stop and play around the 15-minute mark, and you have a TV timeout. And we went from about the 16-minute mark to 9:07 left now in the first half, and I didn't think we were ever going to blow a whistle.
Well, blowing to the tune of the Aces here is the band from UE. They had a lot to shoot about early on, but the Aces have fallen behind 25-19. DePaul playing well, being led by Terrence Green with 8 points. Dallas Comegys and Rod Strickland, the 2 All-America candidates, have 6 apiece. Don't forget a twin bill in basketball coming up Saturday. Arizona at Illinois at noon here on NBC, and Notre Dame at UCLA. And then UE and Loyola will complete the triple-header on Saturday night.
The Aces have turned it over 4 times, and DePaul has converted, and that's probably why they're ahead by 6 points right now. The Aces with 4 turnovers, DePaul with just 1.
So Kevin Edwards will walk it up. He was a late bloomer out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Went to Lakeland, Ohio Community College, was the MVP a year ago. And has he ever helped this DePaul team? Into the traffic. They wanted a traveling, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be back to DePaul.
Brian Hill into the game now for the Aces. Dan Gottfried is so winded on the sideline that he had to come out and get a little more breather than just that timeout would allow.
Also, Andy Louts is in for the Blue Demons. He's got the ball right now. He made 3 3-pointers against Indiana State the other night. 1 from 26 feet, they say. Good outside shot. Comegys working hard. Bamba with a rebound.
Stanley Brundy also in for the Blue Demons.
So you've got Strickland taking a rest. Hafner wanted to put it up. Hafner with 9 points to lead the Aces. Jackson, strong move. But a very good defensive play by Stan Brundy.
Curtis has got to take that a little stronger to the hole. He went there and then just kind of threw it up on the backboard.
Missed shot again by the Blue Demons, and here come the Aces.
Chris Bamba doing a good job on the boards.
Jim Cruz says, take it easy. Down to 7:50 in the first half. About to check in Kevin Haddock. Hafner looks good. From our angle, Hill loses it on the way up.
The Comegys just gave Hill a shot. So Brian's getting his baptism right off.
Comegys from Philadelphia, PA, and as Dean said, it was the only time in the 42-year reign of Ray Meyer that Meyer went out of the state to recruit, and he picked a good one.
There's a lot of fouls inside. You just heard Joey Meyer say, well, you guys call 1 foul. Simmons has reached in twice in the last couple of minutes.
And now a timeout on the floor. We're still at 25-19. Joey Meyer's upset. We'll be back right after this.
Of money just went down. Introducing Home Equity, the line of credit that's yours at an incredibly low 6%. The only loan that gives you all these advantages. Home Equity, the biggest thing to hit banking in a long, long time. From who else but Old National Bank?
Holland Dairy's tradition of quality carries on throughout the year. You'll never miss out on good taste with Holland's low-calorie dairy line. After-school snacks can be fun and good for you with delicious, nutritious Holland milk, fruit drinks, and frozen novelties. When the nights turn cool, warm up with creamy hot chocolate topped with real Holland whipped cream. Holland Dairy for all your festive occasions.
Holland Dairy should be Holland Dairy.
And to the thousands of viewers who enjoy Highway to Heaven here on NBC every Wednesday night, we will tape it and it'll be shown Sunday at 4 o'clock here on 14. Highway to Heaven's episode with James Earl Jones in the starring role tonight. Highway to Heaven, Sunday afternoon at 4. There's the score. A couple of other scores from the MCC. Detroit is at Dayton tonight. In the second half, just underway, Dayton's leading by 6, 37-31, and Loyola is beating Marquette midway through the first half, 25-23.
You said the Aces would have to shoot well, just 42% from the field so far, 8 of 19. DePaul at 50%, 12 of 24.
DePaul has only trailed at the half 3 times all year in their 16-0 record. Getting it to Kevin Edwards, and boy, these guys can shoot. Edwards with his 7th point. He's averaging 13.5, and it's 28-19. Coming down to the 7-minute mark. Haddock down. Brian Hill gets it blocked. Comegys is the all-time leading blocker for DePaul. Look out, Edwards with the jam. And it's 30-19. Comegys has 236 blocks going into tonight.
He's had at least one in the last 20 games. And with the block of Marty Simmons earlier, he made it 21.
Last year, it was a mugging at the Horizon. 27 turnovers by UE as they lost 73-41. But only 3 of the players on this year's team remember that. They were the only 3 around. And a foul on Stan Grundy underneath. Grundy, a sophomore out of Los Angeles Crenshaw High School. He plays only 20 minutes, but he's the chairman of the boards, isn't he?
Let's take a look inside, and you see Marty with some good vision there, getting it inside. And Brian was trying to square up for the easy lay-in. Instead, Grundy fouled him.
That's only the 2nd foul, the 5th foul of the half, 2nd team foul for DePaul. Kicking the ball. It'll be UE's ball out of bounds.
Big trip up the floor for the Aces. They're down 11. They need to get a bucket here.
They came out of the blocks very slowly, down 6-0. Got back, took the lead 9-8 and 11-10. But since then, they've had a lot of problems. Kevin Haddock with the shot. Had the adrenaline flowing as he overshoots everything. And we're under 6 minutes. Andy Lautz for 3. And a foul on Kevin Haddock.
Kevin's struggling right now. He's got a little pumped up on the jumper.
Dan Gottfried coming in. Here's Lautz out of Immaculate Conception High School, one of the few Illinois products on this Chicago team. Gottfried comes in.
Chris Bomba's going to get a break.
And they're going to take another break. 5:52 remaining in the first half. 30-19, Blue Demons.
Never before has Kenny Kent's inventory been so large. Due to the March 1st tax deadline, Kenny Kent must reduce their entire inventory. You'll never buy a new Chevrolet, Mazda, or Volvo for less. Here's the proof. $99 down and you can drive away in a new or used car, truck, or custom van. $99 down on any of over 500 Chevrolets, 150 Mazdas, or 200 used vehicles in stock, and it's yours. $99 down and no reasonable offer will be refused. Kenny Kent is dealing like never before. Downtown and at Diamond and Heidelberg.
Listen, that's the sound of savings at Tipton. Where our prices are so low, we let our tags do the talking.
No one can beat me. I'm on sale.
I'm guaranteed the lowest. Calm down, guys. You're all the lowest. Yes, every appliance, microwave, TV, and video recorder is guaranteed to have the lowest price in town.
Yeah.
At Tipton, when our prices talk...
I'm the lowest. Me too.
And me. People save money.
Guaranteed.
In writing.
Hot Point, 14.2 cubic foot, no frost refrigerator freezer, $449.
Take a look at one of the top shot blockers in America.
He knows what he's doing inside. He says, I own the paint, young freshman. And he says, get that stuff out of here. And the Blue Demons were off and running, and Scott Hafner does about the only thing he can do, try to take a charge. Wasn't good enough as Kevin Edwards went in for the slam.
There you saw also Rod Strickland. He makes it look easy. He doesn't come in. The Aces coaching staff and DePaul field, he's one of the best point guards. If you want to define point guards, you're looking at one of the best in the business tonight.
Pretty smooth operator.
Incidentally, with the blocks that he's had, Comegys surpassed a great All-American named Mikan, George Mikan, the first All-American at DePaul. And as Joey Meyer says, Dallas Comegys is the key to our success. He's been a big key here tonight. Aces coming up, trailing by 11. 5:45 to go in the half. Marty for 3. Rebound. Strong rebound by Comegys. When you look at this DePaul roster, they recruit nationwide. And one of the reasons they do, as Edwards puts it in, is they're on the tube in almost all 50 states. Stan Grundy, who's in there, said, I chose DePaul because I saw him on cable TV in Los Angeles. That's pretty good when your cable goes to L.A. He was, of course, seeing him on WGN, which is doing the game here tonight. Down to almost 5 minutes. Aces have got to be careful, or this one will be over early. Simmons in the paint. Nice move. A foul, and he should get the basket, I think.
Big trip up the floor for the Aces that time. Trailing 32-19, they get the bucket, and Simmons will go to the free throw line. Take a look at it again. Hafner inside, and Simmons goes straight to the hoop and gets the foul on Comagese.
That is only the third team foul for DePaul. And it's Comagese first.
And a man we haven't seen for a while, Beltra Dawson back into the game for the Aces.
Beltra back in the backcourt, number 10. Godfrey coming over for some instruction. And Marty Simmons will try for the three-point play. He can bring it back within 10 with 5 minutes exactly.
To be successful, the Aces are going to have Beltra Dawson in there. And Beltra has returned.
DePaul and Kentucky are the only two schools in the country that have more than 1,000 wins and less than 500 losses in their history. That's pretty good. And there you see the strength. A foul on, or a basket by Comagese, and a foul on Comagese.
Pretty good call by the official. And Dallas picked up his quick foul, number 2.
Wait a minute.
He called it on Comagese, and that's his second foul, and in comes Kevin Golden. There you see Marty set up. Comagese puts it in. Marty goes down, keeps that right hand up, protecting that wrist.
34-22, under 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Brian Hill has to get some help, loses it. That'll give coaches the beginning of ulcers, huh?
The Aces want to make sure they're within 10 at the half.
Hafner up. Rebound, Grundy. Strickland in the middle. He takes it down. Nice defense, but to no avail. Rod Strickland played at Harry Truman High School. Took him to New York State Championship, then transferred to Oak Academy. And had a great winning season there in his senior year. A foul on Andy Lauck.
Simmons posting up underneath, and Lauck just kind of shoved him. The Aces trail by 14 now, 36-22, and they're still playing pretty well, Mike. We talked to the coaching staff, and I was talking to some of them. I said, you know, really, I guess we can play well. We can probably play the best we played all season and still get beaten. He said, yeah, if the ball is on, they're going to be very difficult.
Now they're going to go to a 1-and-1, as Marty Simmons says. Take a look at the clock, ref.
Seventh team foul. Joey Meyer and some of the DePaul coaching staff says, let's add them up there, guys. And there was 7. They had 7 on the board. I'm not sure what Joey was complaining about.
I had him for 4. Make it 5 with Louts as Simmons puts it up. Simmons with his 8th point. In talking about DePaul, they seem to have the right chemistry this year, and again, they're playing hard. And of course, the thing about them, they're such good athletes. They're very difficult to take out of their game, isn't it? They make corrections very quickly.
Well, they're good shooters, and you know, a little opening here or there, and there's so many good shooters out there that even if one guy has a bad night, there's 4 or 5 there to pick up the slack.
Aces trying to stick around, and they get the turnover. So with a little under 3.5, they bring it across, trailing by 12.
See if the Aces try to go inside this time to Godfrey.
Offensive foul on Beltra Dawson. Dawson with the charge.
I don't think that's what the Aces want to do that time up the floor. Beltra trying to create something here, and Strickland just kind of moves over, and Beltra shoves off with the left hand. If Belcher keeps that hand in, that's probably going to be a blocking foul.
Under 3 minutes. DePaul has shot over 50%, and Jamaroo, look out.
Scott Hafner got caught on the back pick, and of course Scott's a little slowed by that ankle anyway.
Kevin Edwards, who's already in double figures with his 13th point. They get 11 points unofficially. DePaul by 14, and in goes Marty Simmons.
Marty keeping the Aces in it right now. It's a big stretch for the Aces. The last 2.5 minutes now. They need to get it under 10.
Boy, they just forget about Strickland. You cannot do that, and Grundy burns him underneath. Strickland went right down with a free license, right down the pipe. Nice dish off as he comes down to the 2-minute mark, 40-26. Deflected again off the hands of Rod Strickland.
Strickland is very quick out front. You almost have to penetrate and then throw it around him instead of trying to go over the top.
2:02 to go in the first half. We're coming back to the stadium after this.
Evansville's old post office is as solid today as it was 100 years ago. When you do things right, they last. At Old National, we do things right too. We have been since 1834, and that's why we've been around longer than any other bank in town. With Old National, you'll never have to worry about your money, ever, because we're solid today, and we'll be solid tomorrow.
Old National, Old National.
You invest a lot of care in choosing fashions for your family. If you care as much about fashions for your home, shop Kite Home Center. The complete bath displays at Kite will inspire you to create your own well-designed retreat, perhaps including the affordable luxury of a whirlpool tub with world-famous jacuzzi jets. Kite offers a complete selection of quality bath cabinets and fixtures and can help you with your plans and decisions, even special orders. Kite Home Center is your home fashion headquarters.
Besides being a great scorer, Rod Strickland penetrates.
Well, he runs the show, and we got to play defensive on him there. The Ace is having a little trouble and getting the points. Stan Grundy. Grundy just kind of lays it right in there. 14 points now. The Aces trail.
Strickland, incidentally, is averaging almost 7 assists a game. If he gets 7 tonight, he'll have over 100 for the year. He led the team in assists last year with 159, but that is penetration at its best. You can't allow a man of his speed and ability to go 10 feet inside the free throw line, or you're asking for trouble.
He's tough. As we said, he was asked to do it all last year, really run the show, handle the ball a lot. But with Edwards out front this year, really takes some of the pressure off him.
Down to 1:55 here in the first half. Aces need a bunch. And a foul on Kevin Golden. Gets back Curtis Jackson. Curtis will go to the stripe, where he is shooting 63%.
Take another look at it. Belcher gets good penetration that time, dribbling the ball when he should be. And that's penetrating in between that zone. Curtis gets fouled and going to the free throw line.
Coming off 2 19-point performances on the road, Jackson gets his first point tonight. He has been shooting 64% from the field and only 63% from the free throw line. That's rare. Aces back within a dozen.
He's been struggling.
1:45 in the first half. It's been pretty much DePaul. It's all DePaul right now. Aces had a few moments to have this jam-packed crowd get excited in the early going. Comagese loses it, and they say that Dawson goes out of bounds.
Well, the official that called that down underneath had pretty good position. I'm not sure if he was looking down at the feet.
That official is Jerry Petro of the MCC.
They got a new shot clock out of that, so...
Simmons with a steal.
Joey Meyer was saying we got a new shot clock, but it didn't matter because Simmons came up with a big steal.
So the Aces need to get within 10. Let's see if they can. Down to a minute 12. Simmons gets him out of position. Up he goes and in. Hardy with the fake and the basket has 13 points to lead the Purple Aces, who are back within 10 with a minute to go. Roberts has not been rocking for a while, but if we can get back in this ball game, I assure you that it will tonight. But 6th-ranked DePaul is for real, 16-0. Joey Meyer, in his 3rd year as head coach, has a team that's been even much better than they thought. They didn't think it would gel, but it has.
The Blue Demons will run the clock down here.
And Edwards burns them, as he's done so often.
That's his 16th point.
We're going to try and get an interview with one of the assistant coaches, Jim Molinari, as the Blue Demons lead. Down to 20 seconds on the clock. Down to 15. That's all that's remaining in the half. 9 seconds. Simmons, up he goes. 5 seconds and a foul on Brian Hill. Or make that on Kevin Golden.
Very obvious push-off underneath.
That's his 3rd, and that'll bring another tall drink of water.
Charles Sowell into the ball game.
Sowell out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, one of the top 100 players in the country last year.
There's Marty going up in pressure, and watch Golden just shove Curtis Jackson right out of the way.
Jackson with his 3rd free throw. Aces back within 11 with 5 seconds on the clock. 4 seconds. And a foul on Comerford. 1 second to go, and